Level 1, the pawns. Level 1 sits at the bottom of the intelligence ladder in Classroom of the Elite. I call them pawns because they exist to be used, discarded, or sacrificed without a second thought. These students run almost entirely on emotion and impulse. There is barely any real thinking happening behind their actions. Yamochi is the clearest example of this. The moment Sakayanagi came to him with an offer, he never once questioned why someone at her level would bother needing him. Instead of pausing to think, he felt chosen. That feeling of importance is exactly what got him expelled. He was never a partner to Sakayanagi. He was just a piece she moved and threw away. Sudo falls into this category as well. His emotions control him completely. He explodes at the smallest provocation, and other students know this and use it against him. If Horikita and Ayanokoji had not quietly intervened on his behalf multiple times, Sudo would have been manipulated into expelling himself before the story even got going. Level 2, the competent. Level 2 belongs to students who are genuinely capable. They can think, plan, and execute, but somewhere in their thinking, there is a gap that holds them back from reaching the next level. Horikita is the defining example of this, at least during the earlier portions of the story. She is disciplined, intelligent, and perfectly capable of leading. The issue is that she builds her entire strategy around logic and expects everyone else to do the same. People do not work that way. During the early special exams, her plans crack under pressure because she never accounts for things like ego, jealousy, or fear. She keeps underestimating how irrational people can be. That is why Ayanokoji constantly has to work behind the curtain, quietly correcting her course without her ever realizing it. Kushida belongs here too, though her weakness looks completely different. Where Horikita struggles with emotions, Kushida is actually very good at reading them. She builds trust naturally and knows how to make herself appear harmless, but her entire operation rests on one thing: her reputation. The second that image starts to crack, her power crumbles with it. That single vulnerability is what keeps her stuck at level 2 despite how much damage she manages to cause. Level 3, the tactician. Level 3 is for students who do not just play the game, they try to reshape it entirely through force and intimidation. There is really only one student who fits here, and that is Ryuen Kakeru. Ryuen is cold, calculated, and completely comfortable using fear as a tool. He is not the most intelligent person in the building, and he knows it. But what he understands better than most is power and how to weaponize it. The way he runs Class C makes this obvious. His classmates do not respect him out of loyalty. They obey him because the cost of disobeying is simply too high. Beyond controlling his own class, Ryuen is always hunting for information. He plants false stories, watches for leaks, and builds traps designed to pull hidden players into the open. He figured out that someone unseen was running Class D long before most people even suspected it. That level of awareness is genuinely impressive, but Ryuen's biggest problem is that his style is loud. He is aggressive by nature, and that aggression leaves traces everywhere. Anyone operating at a higher level can read him like a map and stay 3 steps ahead. Level 4, the wild cards. Level 4 is where the unpredictable ones live. These are students who cannot be controlled, not through fear, not through logic, and not through manipulation. They operate by their own set of rules entirely. Koenji and Nagamo both land here. Koenji makes it obvious from the beginning that he is on a completely different level intellectually. He sees through situations almost instantly and could dominate most challenges without breaking a sweat. But he simply does not care enough to engage unless there is something in it for him personally. During the uninhabited island exam, he shows exactly what he is capable of when he chooses to try. Even then, working alongside others is something he refuses to do. That combination of brilliance and total indifference makes him impossible to factor into any plan. Nagumo works in the opposite direction. He throws himself fully into the system, but purely for his own entertainment. As student council president, he bends rules, stirs up conflict, and engineers situations just to watch what happens. The problem is that his need to be seen as dominant leaks into his decisions and makes him sloppy. Still, like Konji, he is far too formidable to be easily pushed around, which is exactly why they share this level. Level 5, the elite. Level 5 is where natural genius begins to show itself. Sakayanagi Arisu belongs here, without question. What separates Sakayanagi from everyone below her is that she almost never has to move directly. She engineers circumstances and then lets other people walk into them. On the cruise ship exam, she had already identified Ayanokoji as the hidden force behind Class D before anyone else had even begun to suspect it. She did not need surveillance or informants to reach that conclusion. She simply noticed that Class D's results did not match Horikita's known patterns of thinking and worked backwards from there. Rather than confronting Ayanokoji immediately, she constructed situations designed to draw him out and make him show his hand. Horikita Manabu also belongs at this level. He was one of the most naturally gifted students the school had seen, and even with Nagumo actively working against him, he maintained his position in Class A all the way through graduation. That consistency under pressure says everything. Amasawa Ichika rounds out this level. She is a White Room product, trained in the same environment as Ayanokoji, and she was deployed specifically to get him removed from the school. She operated through chaos, stirring tension and planting confusion while keeping herself completely invisible in the process. Level 6, the Prodigy. Level 6 represents something different from everything below it. This is not intelligence that grew naturally through experience or failure. It was engineered, built deliberately through conditions most people could not survive. Yagami Takuya is the only student who belongs here. He arrived at the school with Amasawa, carrying the same mission of eliminating Ayanokoji. He operates with almost no emotional interference and runs strategies that are layered so deeply that most people never even see them forming. During the Year 2 Island exam, the full picture of what he is capable of starts to become visible. On the surface, he presents as cooperative and approachable. Underneath that, he is simultaneously mapping Ayanokoji's abilities, engineering disruptions among specific students, and quietly building trust with key figures to set up advantages for later. Everything he does is precise. Everything is intentional. That is what makes him genuinely terrifying as an opponent. Level 7, the Architect. Level 7 stands alone. There is only one person here, and everyone reading already knows who it is. Ayanokoji Kiyotaka. What puts Ayanokoji beyond everyone else is not raw intelligence alone. It is the control he exercises over himself. While Yagami cannot resist proving his superiority, Ayanokoji actively suppresses his. He defaults to stillness. He lets situations develop, lets people exhaust themselves, chasing the wrong things, and only moves when the moment is exactly right. He almost never touches the board directly. Instead, he positions others to move pieces for him, which is most visible in how he handles Horikita. He places her at the front, gives her just enough support to keep winning, and lets everyone focus on her while he operates completely unseen. Against Ryuen, he absorbs every threat and provocation without flinching, and when he finally responds, the situation is over instantly. What truly separates him, though, is that he has no desires that can be exploited, no hunger for status, no need for recognition, nothing. You cannot threaten someone who wants nothing. You cannot tempt someone who needs nothing. That is what broke Yagami in the end. Yagami's identity was built on being the best. Ayanokoji simply refused to acknowledge that, and that refusal alone was enough to unravel him. No one in the series ever truly corners Ayanokoji. They may pressure him, inconvenience him, or force him to adjust slightly, but breaking him? That has never come close to happening.